your boy Bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great day. My name is Bleeze. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world, and the state of crypto is what? Because we had a nice little run going, and then the American market came online. Good news, and it dumped. We're up for the day, but we were up about 40 billion, went down to about 10 billion just in the last 20, 30 minutes. Today, $4 billion worth of expiries are happening, which is a big number. So let's break it all down and let's figure out what's going on. Make sure on your way in that you hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, you're going to get dick hole cancer. So be very, very careful. I don't have anything funny for ladies, but whatever. They're not watching anyway. So first up, Blocky. If you guys have not yet, you're going to need to get yourself a little bit of Blocky. The reason that I'm going to tell you this right now, not only are they a sponsor of the channel, but if you know anything about this ecosystem and the way things have been working and running, then maybe just pay attention here, because I think there's a possibility of a nice little breakout, leading with this right here, Altcoin Daily. Today, Altcoin Daily is going to be releasing a video on Blocky. Aaron and Austin are the top, or some of the top influencers in this space. The greatest Bitcoin explanation of all time, 2.8 million views. That is gigantic. 1.61 million subscribers. And not only that, 138,000 talking to the crypto walrus, Georges, pick a fucking name, whatever. Cryptos R Us. He doesn't talk to me, so I don't talk to him. You know what I mean? 108,000 over here. Like, guys, they get good exposure. And everybody's looking for new investors and new people to kind of do some kind of higher exposure level, right? So we're looking for higher exposure on this level on Altcoin Daily. Now, let's go into some other pieces that are going to fit in as well. Now, let's go to my watch list. What does my watch list say? Bitbonds up 44%. Bitbonds in the same realm as Blocky. Puff is up to 43.16, again up 41%. By the way, look at Puff. Puff has been having just a fantastic little run, up about 6x from where it was just a short while ago. At one point, up 7x. So what does that mean? Well, 4.3 million market cap, 285,000 liquidity. Guess what? Some people are going to be making a move when they see that video launch. And guess what? That means that Blocky, which is having a little bit of a breakout right now and stair-stepping its way up, I think that 25.65 is the next level of resistance right there. There is a possibility, because of everything happening today, that Blocky is going to shatter through this and take off and hit a nice little 10 million market cap. Remember, that's the exact same thing that happened to Puff not that long ago as we led into the Altcoin Daily video. Ultimately have changed in the day that Puff got released, the Altcoin Daily video, the market had started dumping. Go back and fact check me, by the way. The market had already started to, we'd gotten that big pump, and now we were in that sort of downward trend, and just bad circumstance. So you ended up getting a buy the rumor, sell the news event, sold off quite a bit. And now what you haven't seen from Blocky is the same thing. You haven't seen that big buy event. A lot of that smart money is sitting on the side waiting to see what happens. Now, what I told, I actually told the team this, that there's a level here, you know, right there where it is right now. We got to break above that. Once you break above that, then, you know, that leads to a nice little cascade of your AI bots, people like that, they're going to look at this. They're going to say, you know what? Actually, there's some money to be made here, and they're going to get in. But what you need to see is, you know what? Since we're doing this, let's go take a quick look at our indicators and see if we got a VRVP on it. Boom, 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 boom. Not really. All right, so we got one VPVR. There we go. All right, so we got one. We're gonna get rid of that one because we don't want that shit right there. All right, so we're gonna change this. We're gonna do the width in the box. We're gonna down that down to 25 because we want to see that thing all the way out there, ladies. And then we want the row size to be 256 because that makes it a little bit easier to read. And then we want volume up, volume down. We want that. We want that. We want placement on the left so that I can see it the way I want to see it. All right, so yeah, then we've got the small one. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we're in. Let's talk range. So this is what the range looks like. The next big area right there, we just kind of ran into it. This was the number, by the way, if Roger is out here and he's not in his own chat doing whatever he was doing, that right there was the range that I was telling him. Once you break above this, then you got another move right to the edge right here, 25.65, and then up here, you got this range right here, 27. Then you got a little bit up here at 28. And then you got a little bit up here at around 3. And then you got the big move right there at 31. So ultimately, that's where it looks like it could go. So there's a real possibility of a nice little breakout. Now, how high does it go? I don't know the answer to that, but there's a lot happening in the background today, and maybe, just maybe, we're going to end up seeing just a nice little rally here. And by the way, when you check it out here, not a whole lot of selling going on as much as there is buying, which is why price is going up. So I would say prepare for what could be a really significant rally on Blocky. Make sure you got yourself a bag, especially for today. That altcoin video, that altcoin daily video should kick off a little bit of a rally, especially if the whales are convinced, especially if the whales are looking at it and they say, you know what, this is I think now is the time. Smart money starts to enter. Just saying thanks for the Blocky pick. I'm new in crypto and typically don't listen to YouTubers about financial investment. Also, Keiko to the moon. So guys, if you haven't already, go check out Keiko. That's Kaiko. And I hope you made a pretty good amount of money on Blocky. Hope you're responsibly taking your profits. Hope you didn't wreck a chart. Hope you didn't do anything bad with it. Hope you made a bunch of money. Keiko looks like it's ready for, okay, so Keiko is very early. It's only a day in, on the second day right now. So if you are, and by the way, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but typically what you've got is you got a nice little top over here that's already played out. So basically you're going to bring in a Fibonacci, pull it around to this range here, and you see that little dump that happened right there. Now we're going to go back to 1 hour to look at it a little bit more granularly, if you will. Gone down, went back up to the 236. Okay, so if I'm looking at Keiko, then I'm going to tell you right now, it's my belief that Keiko is going to go down a little bit more for an accumulation opportunity. It came down into that 0.5 range and then went back up to the 236, came back down in the 0.5 range, went back up to the 236, but it didn't break out, and now it's trying to break its way back up there. I don't see it yet, so I would think that this is actually going to be the next move right into this range right here. Then, if it doesn't catch right there, buy a little bit there. And then if it comes down for any reason down into the 17 range right here, buy a little bit more here, and then you'll see that nice little breakout taking you back up there, and you just make your money all over again. That's really what it comes down to. And then, we'll see how high it goes. Maybe it has a nice run. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. Let's put this on the main watch list here, though. Keiko is on the watch list right now, and this is why I wanted to do it. If you guys didn't see it, CPMM is enabled there, which means that it's going to look like there's volume because there's a market maker that's buying and selling on the chart to give it that active sort of appearance and that active sort of look. But you're up 10,000 on the day. give yourself an opportunity to catch a dip on it, and make sure that the narrative is right before you enter into a trade, before you enter into anything like this. It is okay for you to miss a pump. It's okay. What is not okay is for you to put your money into it and then just watch it get liquidated because somebody else is just selling off on the top. So find a good entry position, have conviction in what you're doing. By the way, you could buy on Keiko. You could decide that you're going to enter. You could do exactly what I said. You could wait until you enter at the 786 line at right there. It's about 17 on 2017. You could enter that position, and it could start a little reversal, and it could look like this. Boom, comes down here. You see it, the reversing. You're like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And the next thing you know, you see it come down all the way to here. Okay, because there's not a whole lot of holders, and they can't hold a higher floor yet. So, don't get faded by that. It depends on the team. If the team is good and the community is strong, it will run. It will get its moment in the sun. And by the way, you do have to massage that. You've got to massage your community constantly. You got to remind them that they're great. You know what I mean? And then make them work for their bags. That's the way that this thing happens at its very, very, very best. So, by the way, the next person that types is going to be typing on top of me. Gross. Ohio passes bill allowing up to $200 tax-free crypto payments. Awesome. There we go. We're starting to see it, guys. If you're not seeing the mass adoption happening in crypto right now, then you are not paying attention. Now, back to Blocky. And by the way, if you are interested, I do believe that they've got I do think that they've got some kind of discussion going on right now in their chat. Roger just absolutely, for some stupid reason, loves to interrupt my show with whatever he's doing. Whatever. Should you do that at 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock? No, I mean, as Jacob Fatu would say. In case you didn't realize, this is the third day in a row that I've made a reference to Jacob Fatu, because that dude is awesome. And by the way, let me not skip this one. I hope you like the new digs. This is the Terra Casino shirt. I got a couple of them yesterday. For those of you that weren't paying attention and were sleeping under a rock or a crack rock or Chris Rock, ladies, then you missed out on what I did yesterday. What did I do yesterday? I turned I turned some donuts into chocolate dicks because I thought it was hilarious. I made a ferret that smokes with a bag of Doritos, and then I had pizza with Rex YZ, the Luna Classic developer who owns Terraport.finance. And he came to Chicago, and it was a pretty good time. So while he was here, he brought me these shirts. So shout out to Rex. Appreciate that. Luna Classic to the moon, baby. Now let's look at price chart over here, or let's look at the bubbles. We're up 11% on Psy, down 6% on Fart. The fart is leaving the body. Ew. You can't have a fart without a butthole. Remember that. Kaya's up 17%. So you should see butthole probably explode at some point pretty soon. Peanut behind me, 9.3%. HNT 11%. PulseX down again. Ray gave back a lot of the gains that it had yesterday. Remember, it broke out about 25% before giving a little bit more. What did you talk about? I gave my opinion. I'll give you my opinion. In just a moment. Let's get through the top 400 or so, and we'll get to that. Cent down 25%. Aura down 24%. Launchcoin up 12%. T up 16% on the day. So we're having a little bit of movement. Useless up 24. Veracity. By the way, the Veracity, which is music based, is up 13%. Is up 13% on the day. And by the way, this is a music sort of, I think this is one of those music sort of places. And one of the major, Cointelegraph or something is hosting something about how music is going to change and evolve Web3. So you might see some music stuff. You might see some entertainment stuff kind of take off in the next couple of days. Matt down 36% on the day. Zem up 50%. GPS up 20%. Ergo up 29%. Sundog up 12%. And that's about it on the real breakouts in the top 500. The Fear and Greed Index is still kind of hot, running at about 54. We're looking for a move one way or another. Would hope to see something like that happen. But, the worst thing that we could be is in a neutral territory, because you don't know which direction it's going to go. Based on what I see, based on, you look at it from 3 months, you look at it from 6 months, you start to break it out here, and it looks like it's going to go down. Now, it doesn't mean the price is going to go down, but fear and greed index does like to shock you. So if you have that dry powder on the side and you're ready for the next big move, make sure that you got a little bit of money available, because that next move down to that 30 fear and greed index could be coming. And if you miss out on it, you are going to regret it. So let's keep moving on. Now, the question is, what did we talk about before we get into the news? And, basically, we talked about our children. We talked about family. We talked about, we had a little bit of discussion on Terra Luna Classic. One of the major discussions was, and this is my opinion, and being face-to-face with somebody allows me to just say what I think should be happening here. And I don't know whether that resonates or how that applies to Rex, but I said very, very specifically, Market Module 2.0 needs to be implemented. And I am in a developer chat, by the way, and they are discussing how to open up the market module without burning new token, or without minting new tokens. Now, if you guys remember, the reason that the collapse of Luna Classic and USTC happened in the beginning was because the market module, which is the thing that decides what happens as you trade back and forth between USTC and Luna Classic. And by the way, there's no favorable pairing right there. I just want to be specific about that because it's not pegged. But the market module is what created and minted all the new tokens. So we need to remove the minting process and only focus on the burn process. And then my estimation, and what I did was I took like a piece of paper and I said, well, what we would be looking for is, in the event, I don't know what the fuck this is, but if we're looking at it, we've got this right here, and this is 1 million Luna Classic, right? When you do 1 million Luna Classic and you sell it, they charge you 1.5% or a 0.5% tax. So you're losing on every transaction that you make. And guess what? People don't like that. Now, Binance is whitelisted and some of the exchanges are whitelisted, but not everybody is whitelisted. So what should happen is, when you sell 1 million, you sell 1 million. Now, before the million goes back into the liquidity pool, a little piece of this transaction goes over here, and that money, the transaction there, is used to buy Luna Classic and burn Luna Classic. But wait, there's more. Then another piece is then moved over here, and that piece is then used to buy USTC and to burn just a little bit. The percentages kind of are irrelevant to that transaction, because there's more to it. Because then another little piece goes into the Oracle pool, because the Oracle pool is going to have to be replenished. Okay. And then you have the community pool, and that's right there where we do community stuff, right? So the community pool needs to have a little bit of money too. So every transaction should do that. And then boom, this goes back into the liquidity pool. Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is, a very small amount is used to buy and burn USTC every single time. A very small amount is used to go back into the Oracle. A very small amount is used to go back into the community pool. And then we can start building. Now, the problem with that, for anybody who is paying attention, the problem with that is that nobody is incentivized to trade Luna Classic between USTC and Luna Classic. And the reason for that is very simple. If you look at it, there's constant price fluctuation. Now, you look at Lunk right now, sitting at 57.78, waiting for that next big move, which, by the way, I think is going to be into this little blue box right here at around 407. But USTC moves independently as well. So if one goes up, the other goes up. There's no arbitrage opportunity, because they move kind of in unison, and they might break out one way or another. There might be some variance on it. So there is some opportunity, but not a great amount of opportunity, because what is missing is a stable coin. Now, that's where we get into the situation with Luna Classic of, let me show you this article, because this one was a really important one. And if it escaped you guys because I wasn't talking about it right here, then let me show it to you right now. And that is consultation with the legal firm today in relation to a DeFi stablecoin product that we are working on went extremely well today, much better than expected. We got confirmation that the product sits outside of the scope of MiCA, which is the laws that govern the European Union, and Genius, with only minute changes needed to the WP and zero changes to the overall structure. This project gives us a solid USP, generates profit, burns both LUNC and USTC, and has a solid chance of helping reestablishing Terra Classic as a DeFi heavyweight again, especially with protocols like Juris and Selenium coming on stream. Now, though protocols, Juris and Selenium are lending and staking platforms. So there's a great opportunity, or liquidity providing platform. So there is a growth about to happen in Luna Classic that's going to be very specific and very nice. And if you go back to what I said before of the market module, and now you add a stable coin, then you've created a pairing of Luna Classic and a stable coin, of USTC and a stable coin. You create these pairings, or if you don't even create the pairings, if you're just doing there has to be a pairing with the stablecoin, by the way. But you're creating a situation in which now I am incentivized to trade and maybe just flip between LUNC and USTC with a stablecoin in the middle. Now, my other thing was we could also, the other way that I thought that this was possible would be to peg USTC to 1 penny and use the USDT and USDC models of how they are earning. And I don't know the nature of how they're earning, but when we look at the profits that they've generated, holy shit, should be the word that you're looking for, because Tether in the last 30 days generated 435 million in profit, and Circle, with a quarter of the market cap, generated 190 million. They are generating huge sums of money very rapidly, very quickly. So if we could do the same thing with USTC in some fashion, then guess what? After pegging it to 1 cent, we could have a celebration and a party where we peg it to 2 cents. Then we could peg it to, I guess it would have to double at that point, or, you know, we look at it maybe to double, or we would look at it to go a little bit higher, and then we would peg it from 1 cent to 2 cent, and then we would go maybe straight up to 5 cents in a longer period of time. Maybe not. Maybe we just go to 3 cents and then 4 cents. And then everything that you hold in USTC just continues to kind of go up in value, you know, one little rung of the ladder at a time. But the point to it is, if we did the same things that Tether and Circle are doing in order to generate revenue, then guess what? We could put that back into the financial reserve. So the reserve would exist. You know what I'm saying? The reserve would exist to peg it to a much higher number. And eventually, we're not going to get into the billions, I don't think, because again, we're going to be burning along the way. So, you know, and by the way, this burn protocol, everything market module, everything would change if this were to happen, by the way. And there would be no more opportunity to trade USTC. So, you know, it might just become kind of a dormant, sit on the sideline. I don't know yet. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself when I'm estimating what's going to happen there. But we either can use them as trade bait with a stable coin, or we could turn USTC into a stable coin and slowly but surely build the reserve. And then every time the reserve hits a certain level, we raise the price of USTC. Eventually, it could go back to $1. Problem with that is, and I don't think that it will, by the way, just for full disclosure, for anybody who has a question of it, and the reason that I don't is because you break down what is the supply. 5.59 billion. That is a long way to go. And what you're saying is you want another stable coin out here with about 5.5 billion. Now, if we burn it, there is a possibility. It's just that's a long way off. But if we could burn, and by the way, it doesn't make any sense from a stable perspective in that regard, to just continue for the price to rise. Like when a stable is supposed to be stable, it's not supposed to be going up. You know what I mean? So what you'd be looking at is we need 5.5 billion. And if we got the circulating supply down to maybe 1 billion, it has possibilities. If we got the supply down to 1 billion today, then the price of Terra Luna Classic would actually be about 5 cents. because that's a circulating supply. So you would just be dividing the sum total of funds available in the liquidity pool divided by, it's not exactly, but you would be dividing it by the remaining circulating supply, and that would give you close to 5 cents. So, you know, there is a path forward for this thing to really kind of fix and repair itself, but we're going to have to see how it plays out. We need proposals, we need people, we need serious developers who are serious about developing. And I think that Redline Drifter is one of those guys. So they are deep into creating their own stablecoin, which is going to be a fantastic addition and opportunity for the Luna Classic ecosystem. So if you have a bag of Luna Classic, by the way, if you have a bag of Luna Classic, you should be giving up some of that shit right now, because guess what? If you did not listen to me, you're dumb, because I gave you, this is my coin right here. This is my coin. All right. What I told you was, and by the way, 1 cent is where I gave this to you. And I told you, and I begged you, I basically pleaded with you. I didn't really, but I'm just pretending right now for anybody who's late to the party and you were not part of this, you know, I didn't really, but right now it's at 14 cents. It launched at a penny. So it's up 14x right now. Now, to give you some perspective on that, remember, I've already made my money back. I was the first buyer. I am this wallet right here with 4.47%. There are other wallets that have more than me. They want it, baby. Woo! But I have 44. I have 44 million tokens. If I sold them today, it would be 5.4 million Luna Classic. Okay, so there's an opportunity here. I mean, there's an opportunity here for anybody who wants to that wants to win. Now, what does that mean? Ultimately, the price action stuff like that, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to, you know what I mean? Like, not that big. But here's what is important right now. What is important is getting unbonded. We get unbonded, then this thing goes out into the live. It'll be a great success story for TerraPump.fun. So what we would like to see is for that to continue to happen. It's going to take about 30 cents to get there. So it's still going to double from where it is right now. And by the way, CC, I'm pretty sure I got CC in on this one the other day at like 6 cents or 5 cents. So I think she's feeling pretty good about it. So, you know, shout out. Now let's move back on, because by the way, guys, just so you know, I am on so many peptides right now. My brain is just like ready to fly. Okay. Let's put that up there. Okay, so Moonpig. Let's look at Moonpig. We're on a 1 hour. We don't want that. We want, oh, shit. Okay, so, God damn it. Okay, so Moonpig is in a bad spot, okay? Now, the reason that I say that is not because I don't have any faith that it's going to move. I do think, actually, Moonpig has a great community, and there's a lot of active traders that are moving this for some serious volume, and it's made it to a bunch of centralized exchanges. First, I want to preface with all of that. However, the important thing is, where do you make money? How do you make money? And if I'm looking at this on a daily, then I am telling you right now, we got to zoom in here just a little bit, because we got to find a spot here for a bounce. And we've already, you know what? Actually, this is potentially a good entry position. Here's going to be the problem. Okay. If we look at this again, using, where do we do our, how do I not have, kiss my ass? You know, I just put VRVP up here, right? I just did. Motherfucker. All right. 256, and all right, so that's saved. And then on the right, we want to move that to the left, and we want to do that to about 25 instead of, there we go. Okay, so these are our volume profiles. These are our volume ranges, right? Right now, you're establishing volume at this spot. The next spot for a volume node is going to be up here at 1.8 cents, which is about a 2x away from where it is. Here is the problem. The problem is you're creating this little spot right here, and you're starting to move, but you got that big red candle today, which means that you are now selling into every uptrend. When you're selling into these uptrends, then you're going to go probably down to the next level. And that next level, I'm sorry to say, is going to be right there. So you are looking at a fall on Moonpig down to 0.003 before a recovery. And in fact, if that recovery doesn't hold, then it's going to go all the way back down to like 305. I mean, all the way back to almost the beginning. Okay. Now, remember, this thing launched at, probably zero market cap, very tiny, minuscule market cap. A lot of people made a pretty good amount of money on Moonpig. Don't get it twisted when I say this, but it is probably going to come back down here. And then it's going to need, by the way, this consolidation, and then the market takes off. And then it'll take off along with the market. And then the next thing you'll know is that this thing, which, by the way, this kind of shit happens all the time, okay? We got this move right here up into this, taking it up into a ridiculous recovery mode, okay? This is what, look, SHIB did this. They all do this, okay? If they're supported by community, and this is a strong community. So right now it looks like it's just straight up, right? Like it looks like that when you look at it this way. But if it actually gets a nice little run, billion market cap or so, boom, it takes off and it goes back up there. So that's the best I can say. The most important part for anybody who's trading it right now is don't get caught in where it is right now. And by the way, where it is right now is so you got higher low right there, but then you got a cross right there that's not really higher, which means that the motivation is gone. You had this uptrend right here, but now you've got this downtrend happening, and it's created resistance along the way. So when you look at it and you just start up here, now you're looking at this trend line, and that trend line is to the downside. And the longer you look at this, the longer you bear it out, the more you're going to see how it's been trying to break that trend line, and it's just not breaking it, which generally means that investors are going to get tired and the price is going to come down. What you need to see is a breakout. Let me show you what a breakout looks like. Of course, it would go up there, which the breakout, by the way, that was happening just recently was on Blocky. Blocky broke out of this trend. Same thing was happening here. It had this right here, right? Oh, kiss my ass. Hit right there. And then right there, and right there, and right there, and there, and then there. Downtrends, every single one of them, right? Downtrend. And then boom, finally right there, it broke out. Now, when it broke out, here is how robust that move gets. I mean, if you consider where it was, and then you consider where it is, and you consider the breakout is right there. So we had the breakout, which happened right here, and it ran up 45%. So this is a pretty big, that's a pretty big move. Okay. So now the question is, can we get this thing running back up into that, higher sort of level? So, again, applying that same logic over to Moonpig, which, God damn it, I actually put it on the watch list to look at, and then I did the opposite. Now what we're looking at is, if it gets a breakout, then look for a surge back up into the volume range. The next volume range is going to be 1.2 cents. So, and by the way, that probably, from where it is right now, if we go up here, it's about a 40% breakout, 35%, but a 40% breakout. And then you have no resistance, by the way. And this actually matters. I know this sounds crazy, but see this right here? This little, that area right there? That means there's no trade volume right there, which means that if you get above 12, then you have clear sailing up to right about 15. And then you've got all of this trade volume that's happening in that range. So that's what you want to see. That's what could happen. We'll be watching Moonpig for a few days just to kind of see how it breaks out. Keiko was up 10,000. Now it's down to 343, which means it's still running, by the way. So might be an opportunity to make a buy on this. I don't see it yet, but who knows? Let's get back into the news here, because now I'm getting sidetracked on all kinds of stuff. And by the way, BPC 157, Sermorelin, and semaglutide. So, yeah. All right, Cointelegraph says South Korea's Financial Services Commission, and remember, we talked about this just recently. South Korea now has a pro-crypto president, submits a roadmap to approve spot crypto ETFs in half two of 2025, which means that South Korean money, which again, this is Luna Classic. This is South Korean or Asian community money is going to start pouring back into crypto. That's going to be great for Luna Classic, for those of you that don't know. And, in fact, if Do Kwon gets pardoned or anything, in the next little while. Luna Classic is going to skyrocket. So I'm just telling you that. I don't know for sure, but I do think. So anyway, just in, TikTok denies buying $300 million of Trump after Republican Brad Sherman, as you guys know him, Mong. And by the way, face only a mother could love. Okay, look at that. Look at that pile of pussy magnet there. Woo! Ladies, time to change those pantaloons. God doggy. Brad Sherman is coming for you. Oh, God. So anyway, Mong is now talking about Trump, that TikTok is bribing them with $300 million and stuff like that. He's just kind of making up shit. Now, what it says is, however, the Chinese owners of TikToks have announced they are buying Trump coins. Now, TikTok says, claiming that is patently false and irresponsible and doesn't even accurately reflect a letter you signed last month. Okay, this guy's lying to. By the way, this is, and by the way, when I say that I don't trust Donald Trump, that I think that he's a grifter and a liar, I don't mean that he's an exception to any rule. They all are. Okay, so I'm not against. I'm against Donald Trump. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a fan, but I think he's the best person for crypto. So I'm willing to accept whatever else that I think is because I want crypto mass adoption to happen. So just so we're really clear about what my stance is. My stance is I don't like him, but that doesn't mean that he can't be the boss and he can't be in charge. So that's not my call. That's everybody's call, and I voted for him. So anyway, Brad Mong is he's on some bullshit right now, making up lies, and they all do it. Next up, Fed's Waller says interest rate cuts could begin as early as July. The other thing that Waller just said, which was crazy, is that the reason that it's not happening so far, that they haven't cut rates, is because the Fed is dragging their feet. Like, he goes in hard on Jerome Powell today. You guys should go pay attention to the things that he says. Fed Waller made a couple of statements today that you were just like, oh shit. Fed's Waller could cut rates as early as July, and a good spot to begin talking about cutting rates. Start the process sooner, not later. Can pause if there's a problem. Policy restrictive. Don't think we need to wait much longer for rate cuts. This is his opinion. And this is, Waller says the Fed could cut in July, and they're giving the whole thing right there. But there you go. He didn't say that, but and the president's tariff won't significantly boost inflation, right? And by the way, this is it right here. So just so you guys understand, and Eric Doherty, oh Jesus Christ, he's a cuck. Okay, you know what I mean? Anyway, so Federal Reserve Governor Chris Waller says the Fed should cut interest rates next month, and that President Trump's tariffs won't significantly boost inflation. Now, what he said was, and in his statement, you go find it because it's interesting. He said that Jerome Powell is screwing up because what he's doing is he's waiting for this crazy inflation shock, and they've been waiting for it for 6 months, which was when they did the last rate cut. So Jerome Powell is waiting, and he is fucking with your money. Okay, he is messing with you, okay, and your finances and the good of America, okay. And I don't have any other way to put that. By waiting, because he wants to see an inflation shock hit everybody, so that he can then go back and go, I told you so. And I know he doesn't talk like that, but it sounds close enough, right? So that's what's happening. That's what he's doing. Next up. Tariffs are the biggest macroeconomic concern for 2 in 3 investors per CNBC. So as we get some, just to be clear here, that's not affecting them. Okay. It's not affecting them necessarily yet in their decision. They're still investors investing. The money flow is still going up, but imagine if they're no longer concerned about tariffs. Okay. That means that we have an opportunity for a boom, a real big boom. Now, the other thing is, when I say that, you should realize as well, there's also this other thing that they're going to find something else to be concerned about. They're going to find something else to bitch about, because that's what they do. Okay, that's what investors do. So that's not going to be the end of it, but this is at least some acknowledgement that tariffs are considered a prohibitive problem for risk assets. Also, XRP is quietly becoming global infrastructure. I wanted to point this out. I don't have much news on it, but UAE is integrating XRP into their place. China is now reviewing and studying, and Canada is in a test phase on XRP. Now, this is such a big deal. I think you should be paying attention to this. The UAE is rapidly becoming a crypto hub with pro-crypto regulation support for RippleNet and ODL solutions powered by XRP. China, despite strict crypto bans, China is exploring blockchains and CBDC. Ripple has been mentioned in think tank discussions as a cross-border liquidity solution. And then Canada is actively testing Ripple-based technology through financial institutions. You are not bullish enough. At some point, all of the hype, all of this is going to lead to a monumental pump. And you might miss it, you might not miss it. You're going to catch it on something else, but it's all coming into play right now. And we're all getting into the position where, its next move is going to be monumental. Now, in closing, let's talk about CoffeeZilla, because he is going on a rant. He's out of his goddamn mind at this point. This is 4 days ago, by the way. But he says, timeline so far. Justin Sun investigated by SEC. Sun buys $75 million of World Liberty Finance, launched by Trump family. Trump family, by the way, divesting themselves from World Liberty Finance. Originally, they held 75%. Now it's down to 40%. They no longer have controlling interest for the moment in World Liberty Financial, but they are divesting and they are taking profits along the way. SEC pauses the investigation into Justin Sun. Trump's son joins advisory board of Dominari Holdings. Sun becomes the largest holder of Trump. USD1, Trump-linked stablecoin, gets put on Tron, Sun's blockchain. Dominari Holdings helps take Tron public on the New York Stock Exchange. And Eric Trump is expected to take a leadership role at Tron Incorporated. If I were a Democrat, I would be looking at that and saying, yeah, corruption. That's just obviously and evidently corruption. But let me take a step back here. Donald Trump has nothing to do with this shit, okay? Has nothing to do with this shit, okay? This right here is all about, somebody just said Bitcoin falls. Yep, there we go. Bitcoin is now coming back down after a nice little pump. USA, fucking USA. USA is garbage, by the way. Just so you guys understand. Like, I mean, I'll fly the flag every single day, but we should recognize that the American investors are dog shit. Okay. But also, by the way, they're going to be the ones that pump it the next time too. So, I say that because really, I just want them to, what I'm hoping for, by the way, when I say shit like that, is that one day somebody from Wall Street is looking at this and they hear me saying that U.S. investors are just dog shit. Fuck these guys, scumbags. And they're going to say, I'm going to show him I'm actually going to just buy trillions of dollars in crypto just to prove this guy wrong. You know what I mean? And you have to be retarded to fall for that. But I'm hoping one day that we find some retarded people there that will fall for it. Elon, where is he? He's the one with all the money. So, did I say that? Ooh, shit. All right. So anyway, let's get back into it. By the way, CC coins. Don't forget, there is I got notes. Don't tell me I've got notes. What the fuck was I going to do? There were notes over here. Yeah. Let me find the notes. All right. So, they underestimated some of what was going on here with BCB. That's really what happened here. So BCB, which is her up 1% on the day. What they are doing right. And by the way, did we not call that this is the range right here? Like, we got this perfect. We got the move up here, by the way. And remember what I tell you all the time. We have the move, then we have the correction, then we have the 236 move, then we have the correction again, then we have the retest, then we have the deeper cut, which is happening right now. Then you have the breakout. Okay. That's what's happening right now. So, and of course, by the way, just remember, just like anything else, it could fall a little bit further, but that's the general makeup of a move. Now, here's the part. They've provided more liquidity. So instead of going through BCB through the CCC channel, you can now buy BCB with Solana. Okay, in all places where you could normally buy. So they have created a large liquidity pool. we have now added a substantial liquidity pool to the BCB Sol pool. So if you haven't already, and you found it too complicated with CCC or whatever it was, and you were like, I don't want to buy one crypto to buy another crypto. Hey, asshole, you bought Sol in order to buy other cryptos. What is the problem with one more step? You know what? Weak stick. You know what I mean? But anyway, now it's easier for you to buy blockchain beauty. So buy yourself some blockchain beauties. And by the way, if you have not, welcome her yet. And man, y'all do this to me. I'm trying to say hi to the new person here on your team, and you just anyway, you guys say hi to AM Crypto, and she is the next beauty on the blockchain. So we have another blockchain beauty, AM Crypto. So welcome aboard to the blockchain beauty family. So if you haven't already, give her a follow. That's going to be AM Crypto. COUTO Quato. I don't speak Spanish enough. So if you haven't, make sure you give her a follow. All right. And now let's get into the rest of the market. Now, Keiko still doing its thing. Puff 39.22, having another breakout, coming back around. That money, those profits, by the way, remember this. Little Puff goes into Blocky. Bit bonds money goes into Blocky. Dev money goes into Blocky. No one will know money goes into Blocky. Walla Walla goes into Blocky. Are you reading it? Are you seeing the signs yet? All this stuff goes into Blocky. And I think you got a couple down here that are also not O'Hare. CC rewards, no. Fias maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's it. The rest of them we aren't taught. We're all right. So anyway, Blocky 2284. Again, got to get up there above this level because we just broke out. You got to keep breaking out. So what I need to see, or at least what we need to see, is boom, that move up here into this. And then we need a confirmation above and then a break. And then, you're going to get a nice little run here. And this could start a breakout trend. Okay. That's what we're looking for. I'm not saying it's going to happen, not yet, but that's what we're building for to make sure that it does happen. Now, Winecoin's up 14% on the day. Winecoin dropped to zero. What we'd like to see now is for the continuation of that zero drop. What is this? 10 days ago. 10 days ago, we had that nice little breakout and retest. Now it looks like we're getting there again. Now, here's the other part to that. Right there and right there, we got higher lows coming in. And now the question is, are we going to get that test up there to the top of that range? Okay. So there you have it. That's what I think is going to happen on Winecoin. One more test there. Walla, not really seeing too much on Walla, down 10% in the last 6 hours. It was up a lot bigger. Maybe we'll see these things kind of break out a little bit. Depends on the flow of the money. No one will know. Remember, they had a big announcement and they never made the big announcement. Like whatever it was, I never saw anything about it. So it's just kind of meandering right there, waiting for whatever's supposed to happen next. When I know, I'll let you guys know. API 3 is at 65 cents. Doge Cube's another one that's in that ecosystem that might cause a little bit of surge if it surges as well. But liquidity and everything right there, I mean, it looks pretty dead to me. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's gonna, it's because it was also previously Pepe Cube. So maybe not. TARS AI is down to 8 cents. By the way, TARS AI at 8 cents is going to be a big. Look at that. That's a great buy at that spot. Remember, TARS AI is the only AI brought to you right now by the Solana Foundation. So TARS AI could be just an absolute banger in the game, sitting at a 48.9 million market cap. Hey, Devi, how come you're not at a 48.9 million market cap? Couldn't you get up to can we get a little tiny breakout here and get to 7? By the way, I think that'd be about 60 cents, 65 cents, something like that. Like, I'm not talking about a gigantic breakout, but about, 15, 20% more from where we are right now puts us back in that range. But what I told you guys was going to happen is continuing to happen. There's no announcements. There's nothing that they've done really that's going to change the trajectory until an announcement is made. And again, they're not worried about that. I don't think I don't think they're worried about that. But also look at how tight that little range is right there, and the previous day how tight that little range is after this dump. So we're getting really tight on Bollinger Bands, and that probably let's see if we got a BB here. Bollinger Band. Yeah, there we go. So it's getting pretty tight right there. So I expect that we're going to see a nice little breakout coming very, very soon. Could be a little bit more tightening of it. Looks to me like we found that rounded bottom, if you will. I don't like that we broke this, though. I don't like that we broke that, because that was a pretty strong uptrend. Now, if we, start to look at it from this context right there, we're still getting towards the edge of a spot where, there should be maybe a breakout. Like we look at it that way. I think we're kind of in the final throes, and, going into the middle of July, it looks like if it just consolidates in this range for a little while, we could see some new lows, but Devi, prime for a breakout. It is prime for a breakout. So we'll see what happens. Volt is down a little bit on the day. Remember I told you it is my opinion that you might be able to get in here and get a really nice entry for this new team for Volt. And, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the new team on Volt, but when I go in, if you're looking for chats, okay, if you're looking for active chats, if you're looking for things that pique your curiosity, you start looking around here. Volt is a very, very active chat. I just showed you here. It had like 8,000 comments since the last time I looked in. Like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. So you might be looking at Volt, and it had more comments than anything but Wine. Okay, so Wine has 12,000. I don't know what's real and what's just the bot doing it. So you know what I mean? Like, it's tough to say. Maybe they have a more active bot that's providing them with notices, and when somebody makes a buy and shit like that. But that's a pretty active community. By comparison, no one will know 2,000 comments. The timing is different, but let me look at these. Some of these are just very small amounts of comments along the way. Anyway, the point is, I think that Volt is probably programmed in for a nice little rip there. So anything could happen. You know what? By the way, by the time we do this again, I'm going to have moved back to Dex Tools. There's too many little pieces of Dex Screener that just piss me off every time I use it. Like, I get annoyed by the whole goddamn thing. So we're going to move back over to that. I tried. I tried Dex Screener. Fucking assholes. Anyway, Speedy down about 10% on the day, and O'Hare also down a little bit on the day. Now, again, I think that this breakout could lead to a very nice rally up here for O'Hare. It's reversing right now. It looks like it is from the dip. And when you look at the dip, that might be a 786. It might even be deeper than that, but let's check it out real quick. Yeah, a little deeper than a 786. So, and I got a little bit off on that. Jesus Christ, Yeah, so that was a pretty deep cut right there. So here's what I think is going to happen right now is I think we're going to have a run up to 6608 right there. Because when you get deep on this one on the first cut, you don't go to that 5 or 618, then your bounce is usually the 382 instead of the 236. That's basically what I was saying. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, go learn about Fibonacci a little bit. That's probably going to be the next one. So there we go. All right. I think we got through this. Time for me to go to the doctor. Why? I'm going to register these guns. You know what I mean? Anyway, you guys have a good day. Have a good weekend. Do you know you have to say Brazilian? Brazil and not Brazil. There's no Z in it. Only up here. Like down there, it's like Brazil. Brasil or something like that. I don't know. I was told that by somebody who, wanted me to be wrong, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Anyway, you guys have a good day. You guys have a good weekend. We got some more content coming out this weekend. New Cryptonomy information. Nomi is the rebrand. And I got a script ready, so that'll be coming out this weekend as well. It's not financial advice.